Well, I have made it to the Airbnb in Spokane. If this looks familiar at all, it's because this is the same place that I stayed when I came for my surgery back in March. I think I actually was sitting right here at this same spot at the table the night before when I sort of filmed my last pre-surgery thoughts. So it's nice to be here without that looming in front of me. But this was not only a really convenient location, it's just like 5 minutes from the clinic. It also was just like a really nice place to stay, really comfortable, easy to get to from the airport. And I knew that I wouldn't have any issues with like cleaning product smells or laundry detergent, the sheets, the towels, all of that. So I would much rather go with something good that I know than take a chance on trying to find like another location to stay at. So I was really glad that this place was available again for the couple of days that I'm here. There's also a bedroom in the basement. It's the one that I stayed in last time. It's really quiet, it's really dark, and it's very cold down there. So it's really great for sleeping. Of course, last time I was here post-surgery, it was like really difficult to sleep. So I'm sure I'll have a much better experience this time, but that's also just so nice to find in an Airbnb. Because sometimes you never know, like everything can look really good and then you get there and there's like no curtains on the windows, or there's a lot of traffic noise, or there's like a sign telling you not to turn the AC on or something. So anyway, this was a great spot. I'm happy to be here. I'm also trying to kind of stay, not kind of, I'm trying to stay on Central Time because my trip is so quick. I don't want to try to adjust to the 2-hour time difference here. There's just no way that's going to happen, and I'm just going to throw myself off way more if I try to do that than if I just try my best to stay as close as I can to Central Time, which will mean like going to bed probably like 6:30 here, but that will also work out well because I have a very early flight Thursday morning. I'll have to leave here at like, I don't know, 4 a.m., but that'll actually be 6 a.m. at home, which isn't so bad. If I can kind of stay on that timing, it's just going to make everything easier. I guess that's one benefit to it getting dark out pretty early now. It won't be very hard, I don't think, for me to kind of start winding down even when it's quite early here. And like I said, the bedroom downstairs, it's very dark. You kind of feel like you're in a cave. So it'll be kind of an interesting experiment. I don't think I've ever really done this before, where I've had a super quick trip with a big enough time difference that I didn't want to try to shift over. Obviously, last time I was here for like almost 2 weeks. And even like with the surgery and stuff, that just kind of threw off my sleep and everything anyway. But I feel like usually if I'm traveling, I'm going long enough, or if it's just like a 1-hour time difference and I'm going to be there a few days, I'll probably adjust more, but I'm gonna give it a try this time, see what happens. So I'm basically trying to tell myself that it's like 5:30 right now, not 3:30. So this would be pretty close to the time I would start getting ready to have dinner if I were at home, maybe go for a little walk afterwards and then start winding down, getting ready for bed. So I'm just gonna kind of start that routine, get settled for the night, and I will check in the morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It is very early Washington time, but it's actually like 6:45 my time at home, and that's kind of what I'm trying to stick to, which I think actually worked really well last night. I ended up going to bed and waking up around the same time that I would at home, even though it was 2 hours earlier here. But I even actually changed one of the clocks here to be on Central Time so that I could kind of keep my brain in that mode. And I think even just like not having to calculate like, okay, if it's this time here, what time is it at home? What time should I be getting to bed or whatever, was actually helpful. Almost like kind of tricking myself into believing what time it was. But anyway, I felt like I slept really well last night, was able to stay on my normal schedule, which will be really helpful when I fly home tomorrow morning. The only thing that's maybe going to be a little bit difficult is that it's going to be quite a while before it starts to get light out here. So that might throw me off a little bit, but I'm sure I will survive. I have to be over at the clinic at 8 for my first appointment, and then my follow-up with my surgeon is at 9. When I came here for my surgery, I did a whole bunch of their recovery protocols afterwards. Like they have hyperbaric and red light and IV therapy, PEMF, and a couple other things. So when I was coming back, they also said I could do any of those before my appointment if I wanted to. So I'm scheduled to do one of the things that I actually didn't get to do last time I was here, which is called the biocharger. I don't want to explain it wrong, but I believe it's kind of like an electromagnetic field type of thing where it's like pulsing a certain energy. Like you sit next to this device essentially that is like giving off a certain frequency or energy that is supposed to be healing. So it can help with recovery if you were doing it post-op, or it can just sort of help you feel better, I guess. I'm really curious to see if I notice anything, because I have heard that of all of the like recovery modalities that you can do, that this one is something that you actually feel while you are doing it, as opposed to maybe like afterwards, or maybe not like really noticing anything. So I'm excited to try that this morning. I have my follow-up at 9 where we will do final after photos. I'll also probably do like a little interview for their social media, and then I think I will basically be good to go. But since I have a little bit of time this morning, I want to get some work done that I didn't get to yesterday. I want to do a little bit of just an at-home workout. I brought some bands with me. I'll probably take a little walk if it gets light enough out before I have to leave. I have my hydration drink ready to go. I drink this every single day when I am at home, but I also really like to bring it with me when I travel, not only because it just kind of helps me stick to that morning routine, but especially after traveling, staying hydrated, getting those electrolytes, amino acids, minerals, all of that stuff, to me is really important to stay on top of that. I don't want to get sick when I'm traveling. I know my body's already going to be a little bit more stressed out than usual from that, and this is just an easy way for me to make sure I'm staying hydrated and getting some good nutrients in the morning. So I'm gonna drink this, gonna check my Aura ring, see how I did on sleep last night, get a little bit of movement in here at the Airbnb, maybe get out for a walk, and then head over to the clinic in a little bit. I'm having this pumpkin and pecan protein bar as part of my breakfast, and realizing that this was actually the first thing that I ate after my surgery. Once I got home, I was not feeling great. I was still pretty nauseated, like from the anesthesia and everything. And it took me probably like 45 minutes to just like eat little pieces at a time, just because like my face was sore and it was a little hard to chew, and I really just didn't have any appetite. So just glad that I'm not in that place right now. Got back from the clinic a little bit ago, so first I had my biocharger appointment, which was really cool. I basically just like sat in a chair next to that thing that I showed previously, which has, I guess, like a Tesla coil, and then there's like noble gases or something. Honestly, don't fully understand how this thing works, but like I said before, it's kind of giving off an energetic charge, and it's sort of cycling through different pulses of electricity, and there's also like some red light involved, and it's supposed to be healing and regenerative and all that. And I do feel like it kind of reminded me of acupuncture in a way. I haven't done acupuncture in a really long time, but kind of that feeling of like, if you've ever done acupuncture, when you have the needles in you and maybe like a heat lamp on you or whatever, and you can kind of feel the energy in your body, or kind of you're more aware of like the energy flowing in your body. It's kind of what it reminded me of. But I got to do that for about 45 minutes and then went out to meet with my surgeon and do our follow-up. That went really well. They said it was like the easiest follow-up appointment just because I've really had no issues at all and everything looked really good. We did a whole bunch of photos, and we also did some video interviews for their Instagram page. They've already done quite a few posts, like both photos and a couple of reels from pre-op, and then some like post-op photos over the last few months. I'll link to those below in case anybody's interested in seeing any of those. But it was really nice to see everybody again. They're all just so very kind and nice, and really appreciative that I came back for this in-person follow-up. So it was nice to be back, and also to be back but not like preparing to go into surgery, to just kind of have it be more relaxed and pleasant trip. So I'll probably be spending a lot of the rest of the day just working on my computer. I have some things to catch up on, and then I have a very early flight tomorrow morning. We'll have to leave here by like 4 a.m. or a little bit after. Although, like I said, it's still 2 hours later at home, so it'll be like 6 a.m.-ish my time, and I'm still kind of doing my best to stay on Central Time. So it won't be too bad in that regard. Super quick turnaround on this trip, but given that I had basically just gotten home from being in Virginia for 2 months, it'll also be kind of nice to get back home and stay home for a little bit. Good morning. It is very early on Thursday morning. Well, it's very early here in Spokane. It's like 3:45, which means it's 5:45 at home, so that's not too bad. I would usually be getting up around this time anyway, although I did wake up a little bit too early maybe, just anticipating my alarm going off, but ready to head out the door and head to the airport. Actually, kind of funny story. I don't know if I shared this last time I was here. When I was here for my surgery, my mom was with me to help take care of me for that first week afterwards, and when it was time to fly home, we also had this really early flight. We were trying to leave the house at like 4 a.m. or something. And obviously, you know, it'd been kind of a long week. I had been pretty uncomfortable and hadn't been getting a ton of sleep, but we were ready to go. We were out the door on time in the car, and it's only like a 15-minute drive from here to the airport. So we pulled up the Google Maps and started driving, and obviously it's also really dark out at that hour. I think that day it was even raining, and so we don't really know the area or anything. So we're driving to the airport in the dark, in the rain, and as we're getting closer and closer, it says we're like 3 minutes away, 2 minutes away, whatever, and we're like in this really dark, like back road somewhere, and that was when we realized that there is the Spokane International Airport, and there also is Spokane Airport, which is like a tiny little regional airport, not in the same place as the actual airport we were trying to go to. And our Google Maps had taken us to Spokane Airport. And unfortunately, we didn't catch it until we were literally there. Thankfully, we were a little bit ahead of time. And at that point, we were about 20 minutes away from the actual airport. So we just like booked it over as fast as we could. It's also a really small airport, so luckily it was pretty easy to navigate. Like once we got there, it wasn't very far to go, like check in and get through security and everything, but we ended up cutting it obviously very close, and it was pretty stressful way to end that trip, but we did get on the plane and make it home. So we'll definitely be double checking when I get in the car today to drive to the airport that I'm going to the international airport and not the regional airport. So just gonna do one last little check of the Airbnb, make sure I have everything, and start this trip home.
Either way, your seatbelt fastened and carry on items stowed until the captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please be careful when opening overhead bins to avoid injuring from items that may have shifted during flight.
Blue, red, and silver marking, shuttles, buses, light rail, Terminal 2, and off-airport locations.
Well, I made it home. Been home for a couple of hours now. Got pretty well unpacked. Had some lunch, just took a quick walk outside to get in the sun a little bit. It's a very nice fall day here. It's a little bit chilly. I'm not sure it's even like 50 degrees out, but very sunny. After kind of like being in the airplane all morning, it was nice to just get some fresh air and a little bit of sunshine. I have some computer work I need to do now, but I also would really like to get some more movement in. Obviously didn't get to do anything this morning, and all I've really done is taken like a 10-minute walk. So I think I'm gonna go do my little treadmill desk setup in the gym here and just walk slowly, but be able to get some steps in while I get some stuff done. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to heat up the sauna so I can hop in there afterwards. I feel like that's also just a really nice thing to do after traveling. I always just feel kind of gross after traveling, and I think getting a walk-in plus a sauna and a shower is gonna like make me feel like a completely different human. So that's the plan. I'm trying to get back into regular sauna use again as well, since I wasn't using it for the 2 months that I was in Virginia and kind of got off that routine. I'm trying to figure out what makes sense in terms of like how often I want to use it, like how often is going to be beneficial without either overdoing it, which I don't really think, as long as I'm being mindful of like how long I'm in there and how hot it is, I don't really think I could overdo it even if I did it every day. But it does take some time, obviously, and I always have to shower afterwards, so it's a little bit time consuming, and I have to remember to turn it on and preheat it and all that. So right now my goal is to kind of do it at least 4 days a week. From what I have read of studies on sauna use, that seems to be kind of like the magic number for having all sorts of health benefits, and that seems fairly realistic to me to be able to do that. I was previously doing the sauna mostly at night, like after dinner before I would start to get ready for bed, because I found that doing the sauna and then like a cool shower and then basically getting into bed right after that was very good for my sleep quality. But I'm finding that now that we're heading into shorter days and like fall, winter, I've just been getting very, very tired in the evening, and it just feels like a lot to do that whole routine when it's already dark out. Maybe once I kind of adjust more to the seasonal change, I might be able to start implementing that again. But for now, I've been either doing it like in the morning after a workout if I can, when I'm already sort of warmed up. It goes a little bit faster if I'm getting in the sauna where I'm already warm, like my core temperature is already up a little bit. I start to sweat a lot faster, and then I don't feel like I have to stay in there as long. If I go in there and I'm like slightly chilled, it really takes me a bit before I actually get warm enough and start sweating, and then I want to be in there for probably like 20 minutes or so after I start sweating. Anyway, I've also been trying doing it kind of like late afternoon, so maybe doing something like this where I do a little walk or treadmill session while I get some work done, and then I've gotten warmed up, and then I can hop in the sauna and kind of get that done before I'm really like crashing at the end of the day. All of that to say, trying to get back into regular sauna use, and now that I am home from that quick trip to Washington, want to kind of get right back into that routine and also just kind of sweat out the travel day ickiness. It's still so dark out in the mornings now. I haven't really gotten used to that, but next weekend we turn the clocks back, so that will be nice to have a little more light in the morning. I definitely prefer that to light later in the evening.
People like himself. He was born into one of the lowest castes of Hinduism. They're known as Dalits.
Good morning. It's now about 9:45 on Saturday, and I'm just about to head over to the farmer's market. This is the last weekend of my local farmer's market, so even though it's like 40 degrees out right now and raining, I definitely want to stop over there. And then I'm meeting a client at the gym for a training session. I also have a bunch of stuff I need to return that's kind of like in between the farmer's market and where the gym is, so I think I'll have time in between to make a quick stop. And then when I get back, I need to unpack the new planter boxes that I ordered. So last week I was measuring out on my deck to order some kind of like raised bed planters to replace the clay pots that I have that are out there that are completely falling apart, and they arrived earlier this week. They've been sitting outside my door because they're in a huge box, and I think it's just gonna make more sense to kind of like unbox it in the hallway and bring it in pieces because the box is pretty heavy and awkward to move around. But I do want to get that unpacked and kind of see what sort of assembly they will need. If it stops raining, I might be able to take them out onto the deck and actually put them together. But at the very least, want to get them unboxed and kind of see what they look like, see how much assembly is going to be required. Because after putting together that luggage rack last week and having to like completely take it apart and do it again, I want to feel a little more prepared for this project. Okay, this is what we've got. It doesn't look too complicated, maybe a little time consuming, but what I realized is this is only one of the 2 raised beds that I ordered. So I'm not really sure why I don't have the other one yet, because I've had this one for like a week, but I vaguely recall that maybe the other one that I ordered wasn't gonna ship out until the end of the month or something like that. So I'll have to double check and see when that one's supposed to come, but maybe at least I can get this one put together and then I'll kind of know how to assemble it when the other one does arrive. Well, the time has come to make an attempt at assembling this raised bed planter box thing. I've looked through the instructions, I watched the assembly video. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be particularly difficult, but maybe a little bit tedious because there's just a lot of pieces to screw together basically. So I'm trying to kind of mentally prepare myself. I'm hoping I can get this whole thing put together in the next maybe like 30 to 45 minutes that I have. So we'll see how this goes. Well, my camera battery died, but I got pretty far. Basically have the whole base put together and now I just have to put in like the bottom shelf thing. I do think I may have run out of one of the screws that I am needing more of, so I'm not really sure what that's about. Might have to contact them and see if something is missing, but gonna pause on this project for now. Maybe finish it later today if I have time, but pretty happy that I made it this far. It wasn't like difficult to put together, but it did take me quite a while. I am going to end off this video here. Coming up in the next few weeks, I have an appointment with my naturopath soon to go over the last blood test that I did. That was a few weeks ago when I was still in Virginia. I did a test for PFAS, the forever chemicals. I shared the initial results that I got of those a couple of weeks ago, but we'll be getting her take on all of that. I also have an orthodontist appointment to get an Invisalign update and a dentist appointment, and have some other house projects that are going to be going on because I have actually some furniture delivery coming this weekend. I'll finally be able to put together the new bed frame that has like been sitting in my hallway for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months or something crazy like that, because I'll be finally getting the new rug for my bedroom, and I didn't want to put the whole bed together only to have to take everything out of there to get the new rug in. So I've just been waiting for that to come. It was on back order for a long time. That's coming soon. Some other little projects that I want to get to now that I'm home for a while, plus just the regular daily health and wellness stuff and any other new things I might be trying in the coming months to continue on this health journey. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would subscribe down below or give this video a thumbs up. And thank you very much as always for watching, and I will see you next week.
Bye.